Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today, finally, I am getting to interview Black Covers Ingo. It is going to be awesome. We're going to kick off with one of his tracks. Buckle yourselves in, folks. This is Black Hole Sun. You ready? I'm ready. Let's do it.
In my eyes, indisposed, in disguises no one knows, hides the face, lies the snake, and the sun in my disgrace. Boiling heat, summer stench, neath the black, the sky is dead. Call my name through the cream, and I'll hear you scream again. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Won't you come? In my shoes, walking sleep, in my youth I pray to keep heaven sent hell away. No one sings like you anymore. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Won't you
Wash away the rain, black old sun. Won't you come? Won't you come? Yeah! What a killer song, yeah? Awesome, awesome stuff. Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And yes, it's that time of the week where we interview an amazing artist from within this amazing community of artists. And that was Black Hole Sun by none other than Ingo from Black Covers, who is on the show today. First, I want to let you know that today's show is sponsored by DistroKid. If you would like to get your music released, DistroKid is the place to go. And there is a link you can see right there in the description as well. distrokid.com/VIP/Jade Starr, and you'll get 7% off your first year. Did I just do that to you guys? Sorry. 7% off your first year. But a bit later on in the show, I'll let you know more about DistroKid. Before we jump in and get Ingo on the show, I know you're all chomping at the bit. I would like to make an announcement very soon on this show. In a place of an interview, we've got something very special coming up. I'm going to do a bit of promo now. Yes, it's getting to that time. Russ's new album, Moonworks by the Delicate Giants is on its way, and I have the first promo stuff. Look at that. I have a Delicate Giants book, a Delicate Giants pen, a Delicate Giants coffee cup, and even the new Delicate Giants t-shirt. So we're going to have a special screening on this very channel. I'm making the announcement now, and we're going to play the entire Delicate Giants album Moonworks on this channel and then have Russ on to talk all about it. It's going to be a wicked show. It's going to be coming up very soon. So keep your eyes and ears pinned to the channel. Alrighty, I'm excited. Hopefully you're excited because, yes, it is that time. I first came across this particular artist, I think was on Pete John's channel on YML, Your Music Live, and was like, orchestral music with a singer? What? What's going on? I want to know about this artist. He creates amazing backing music, and what I really, really respect more than his music that he creates is that he gives really amazing independent vocalists an opportunity to sing on this music, and I think that is absolutely fantastic. He has an absolute slew of amazing covers on his channel. And yeah, I've just been super excited to have a chat with this particular artist. His name is Ingo. His act is called Black Covers, and he's all the way from Germany today. And we're testing out new streaming software too. So shit should be really good. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the stream, ladies and gentlemen, Ingo from Black Covers. Hey Ingo, how you going today?
Hey everybody. Hi Jade.
Hey.
I'm fine, thanks.
We're here. It's happening. And
yes,
we all finally get to know what you look like. Yes.
Yeah. Here I am. Hi, folks.
Awesome. And now, folks in the chat, thank you all for being here. As usual, probably about 20 so minutes in, we'll call your names out and we'll get to it. We'll do a roll call soon. So thank you all for being here. Ingo, I want to ask first before we jump into some questions. Tell us about how Black Hole Sun came about. Who's singing on it? What's the deal with that particular track that we just played?
That one was special because it was the first one where I went to kind of the more rocking, grungy style. And the singer is Grant Tufts, a good buddy of mine from the UK. I guess he did 4 or 5 songs already on my songs, and he's amazing. He sings everything like wow. You get the recordings and say, okay, fine, it's perfect. No need to change anything. It's like a bomb. He's a really cool guy.
That's what you want. You want bomb.
Yes.
You want it to rock straight away. So how important is it when you hook up with an artist? I'm sure this is I'm going to jump straight into the meat before I get to the music questions. Because you're doing this over the internet, so you're creating these amazing orchestral pieces. You send them to an artist, and then they've got to add their vocals and send back these takes to you, and you've got to work with, people who have gear that might not be up to standard. Low quality recordings, high quality recordings. Is it challenging to put all that kind of stuff together and come up with the amazing sounds that you do?
Yeah, definitely. So the variety is broad. So the technical stuff is always a thing. So I told you once you should do a show about how to record vocals in a quality high way. Because there are so many singers who are great, who are fantastic, and sadly they have gear that makes their voice sound like not so good.
Shit.
Yeah. So yeah, this is challenging, and you know it by yourself. Of course you write forth and back, but there's a point where you say we leave it like that because it won't get better and the feeling about it gets worse if you ask for more redos. So then it's up to me to find a way to put it in mix, and it makes it sound hopefully good enough.
I think what Ingo's trying to say is it's hard to work around the delicate emotions of a vocalist.
Yes.
So, we were talking.
I'm just talking from the technical side. So the singer side is completely something different. So.
Yeah. But, you know, hey, if you go back to them and say, hey, this recording was not so good, then you're dealing with the delicate emotions of a vocalist who'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Hang on a moment, I'm a vocalist.
Yeah,
I know, I can say that I am one, so it's all good. All right, we'll come back to that a little bit later. Let's jump in with the usual questions that I fire at folks. Ingo, what does music mean to you?
This multi-layered answer. So, of course, music is the biggest part in my life. I'm doing music since I was 5, going to piano lessons, and I hated it.
Oh, wow.
My parents had to really throw me in there and give me toys to do it again. I met all my friends in music. I'm in a band since I'm 13. I earn my money from music, so I do my living from more the technical side of music. It's struggle when it doesn't work like you want to, and it's pure joy when you at the point where it suddenly opens up and you say, yeah, that's what I tried to achieve, and it comes to life. So yeah, but I guess everybody in the chat will say the same thing. So it can be super cool, it can be hell.
It's so broad, isn't it? You know, music, it takes us to so many different places. It's more of an emotional roller coaster than the news these days. And that's saying something, because the news is pretty crazy around the world these days.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I mean, thank God we have music, because, I think without music, some of the toughest times in the world have been salvaged through music. I always look at things like the Vietnam War and the hippie flower power times. And if we didn't have all those amazing artists that were around that time, and Woodstock and all that, would we be where we are right now? Because music played such a pivotal moment in that time. You know, music seems to be a portal into getting us through tough shit. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do you recall the music that was played in your house in Germany as a kid growing up, and has it influenced you? What music did your parents play, in other words?
Now you will laugh your ass off, because my dad only listens to classical music, and I hated it. It
really?
was really like, can he please stop playing the Christmas Oratorium by Bach the whole year?
Who would have thought?
And it has nothing to do with now I do this music I do. Really, as my mom listened to Elvis and Beatles and all the stuff it was on the radio in the 70s. So I'm born in the 70s, and I'm raised with my own music from the early 80s on. So I wouldn't say it influenced me much, but who knows? So I'm doing this orchestral stuff since a year, but I work with orchestras since decades. So yeah, somehow it might have influenced me.
That absolutely shocks me that you've only been doing this black covers thing for a year. Like it feels like, well, it feels like I've been listening to your stuff for longer than that. Maybe that's because of what's been going on in the world. Everything feels like it's been going on forever. But yeah,
for me it feels like I'm a newbie. I'm even for everybody in the chat. When I first was on YML, it's kind of, I don't know, last summer or so, was like, oh, all these guys that are always here, and I'm new, and I feel new since then. So it's still new to me.
Well, you're absolutely slaying it. Let me tell you that. I know every time you release something, and I think I can speak for myself, and I think most of the people who are here in the chat today and who are watching on the replay, we're always keen to see what's going to come out next. Who's the next singer? It's a very exciting thing that, as I said, you know, with you promoting all these wonderful singers, I think that's a really, really beautiful thing. I want to ask, do you recall the first album that you ever purchased with your own pocket money, and the first album that was given to you as a gift? And what format was it on?
Of course, it was vinyl.
Yeah.
Nothing else was on the market then. The first album I got as a present, I guess it was the Jungle Book. So there were, I don't know if you remember,
I had
there were there were these recordings where all the spoken words are on from the movie.
Yes.
And you could listen to the movie in like, what is a vinyl, both sides, it's about 25, 30 minutes or so. So all the language from the movie was inside there, and the songs, and I could repeat it. Like I listened to it 1,000 times or so every evening before I went to bed, and slept over it or so. And the first album I bought, and Russ will hate me for that, was the Blue album from the Beatles.
Sorry, Russ. You know.
Sorry.
You know what? In secret, Russ actually does like the Beatles. I see. I'm giving it away now. I think he just doesn't like the stuff that was all the love me. He likes I think he likes more of the stuff like from around Sgt. Pepper's, all the kind of weird, you know, the drug fuck,
After 66.
the drug fuck stuff.
Yeah, the White Album and
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah.
I'm the same with the Beatles. I like that stuff much more than everything else because, I don't know, love's a great thing to write about, but, you know, it does get overplayed sometimes. I really love the Beatles when they broke out of that mold.
And as you say, there are two parts of the Beatles history. So until 1965, it was like, we call it Schlager here. I don't know how you call this. Very folky, not folk music, but you know what I mean, like ABBA.
Schlager.
And after that, they got experimental. So they did crazy things in sound, in composition, in lyrics, and everything. So
Schlager. There we go. There's my first
Schlager,
word for the day. I'm going to write down in my little book that Russ sent me. Schlager. There you go. I'm learning German. You know, speaking of
By the way, I have a deal with Weltenkinder. He's in the chat. Marcus, my friend Marcus, he's from Germany also. So we talked earlier this day, and I said, you have to help me out. You have to have a Google translator. And if I'm losing words, I tell you, and you have to look them up for me and write it in the chat.
Weltenkinder
So Marcus, please check what Schlager is in English.
Weltenkinder is now the designated translator for the chat, folks. So everybody give Weltenkinder a love heart in the chat for his work that he'll be doing today. Yeah, look.
He's saving my ass.
Look, there's a hell of a lot of really amazing German artists within this YouTube community. I have a whole bunch of them that are on my Patreon, and every week when I master songs on my Patreon, we have a whole lot of Germans in our chat typing in German, and we all sit there going, what are they saying? Are they saying they hate our guts? What's going on? So it's weird. You mentioned this. I keep getting an email every day from, let me see if I open it up here, from Duolingo. I've started to try to learn German on the Duolingo app.
Okay.
So, I want to know what they're saying about me.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So you mentioned you started taking music lessons. What was it, at 9, I think you said? So the piano?
5. It was 5.
5.
It was before I went to school.
Wow.
And
you hated it?
Yeah. I hated it. You can't imagine. I cried. I didn't want to go out of the car. And I had a shitty teacher, I have to say. He was an old Italian, nothing against Italians. I like everybody. But he was like, Ingo, you have to do your fingers like crawls from a bird. And I did the horrifying Czerny exercise book where it was hell. And I did it for 3 years, and I went to my parents and said, I don't want to do it anymore. I want to play drums.
Oh,
I
wow.
said, okay, here's the deal. You go on with piano, and you can additionally do the drums. And that was my thing. So I had lessons on the drums since I'm 8, and the first teacher I had, he was not really a drum set teacher. He was a classical drum guy. So I learned everything like timpanis, like mallets, like small drum, snare drum, and for 2 years, I think. And after that, I went to the drum set. So and then finally everything was open. So since I'm 9 or 10 years, I'm playing the drum set. I played in bands since I was 13. I'm still playing in a band with my guys. We started this band as we all were around 18. I was 18. It's cover band, of course, it's cover band. And we play for 33 years now.
Oh, wow.
The last 2 years we didn't play because of the pandemic, but
Yep.
so this was my main thing. And as we do covers, I always had to deal with the keyboard playback stuff, because if you play modern songs, there's a whole bunch of keyboard stuff inside it, and you can't play it live, so it's not possible. So I have a computer where the playback stuff is on my drum side, and I have to program it at home. So I'm very used to do cover things and listen by ear what they're doing and hack it into the computer and do an audio file from it.
Hacking it sounds like the way to go. That's how I make music. I just hack it. It's all hacking. So you mentioned playing in bands. I love asking this question. What was the name of your first band? I'm always interested in this.
Yeah. Oh God. It's the Nobodies. We were the Nobodies.
The Nobodies.
Yes.
That's a bit bleak, but at least you've come out as somebody now. So
And actually, I always had older friends. So even in the first band where I was 13 or so, everybody was like 15, 16, which is a huge difference in that age. And I couldn't play drums because they had a drummer, so I had to play the guitar, which I didn't do before. I did it in like school lessons, country roads and stuff like that. But yeah, the Nobodies, cool band.
And what's your current band that you have been playing in for 33 years, but not at the moment? What's that called?
That's called Upset.
Upset.
And everybody who's talking English says, "Why upset? Why are you upset?" It's fun music, because we weren't aware of what is upset meaning actually. So we're like, yeah, we are up on the set, you know. But we say, "What? Are you crazy?" But then we had the big banner and we didn't want to change it after we knew what it was.
What a cool story. That's awesome. So a play on words has left people going, what? But we came here for a good time. What's going on?
Yeah, why are you upset?
But no, but it makes total sense now that you've explained it. It's a shame you don't get to explain it probably on stage every night. Because jokes aren't that funny if you have to explain them.
Yeah, exactly.
So, did you play music in school? Was there? I should ask also, were you forced to play the recorder in school?
No.
My lord!
I was forced to play the Glockenspiel.
Oh wow! What a cool instrument, though, to be forced to play.
Yes. So the Glockenspiel, I don't know. Here in Germany, the Glockenspiel is kind of the recorder in the else of the world.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's like the off instruments, you know, off. He's a music educator, and he has made up really easy instruments for kids.
Yeah, right.
It's the off instruments, and it's like a mallet instrument where you just have one single note or something like that. And everybody gets some of these instruments, and this is a really good way to learn music with really little kids. And I had the Glockenspiel.
Yeah, I think I had one as a kid too. My kids gave it. My kids, my parents gave it to me and said, "Here, go in a room, go bang this, and shut up." And I did. And I probably banged a whole lot of other things with that little mallet. The first time I ever heard Glockenspiel that I really loved was, of course, Frank Zappa. When I heard it played in Frank Zappa, I was like, "What the hell, man!" Some of the stuff that was done with what's going on? All right, so you know what? We're 20 minutes in. I think I might play a song, and then we'll come back and we'll say hello to everybody here, and then we'll dive into the meat of the interview. So, hey, thank you all for being here. I know there's a massive number of you. I think there's nearly 40 of you here, so thank you so much for being here. I'm going to choose. Let's do this because I think it has a really, really beautiful message. Let's play this one. So this is, let me just bring it up on my screen and pause it in time. This is, and we'll get you to tell us about it before we jump in. This is How to Save a Life. And it features Texas Jackdaw, Tim Roberts.
Tim.
Yeah.
Yes,
so do you want to tell us a bit about how this came about?
I saw Tim on the hippie show, of course, where he is kind of, he belongs to the hippie show, like some other really cool guys I met there. And I was fascinated by his absolute wonderful music, his composition talents, and of course his wonderful voice. And I was scared to ask him if he would work with me, and it was such a joy. And he's a pro, absolute pro, and in everything. And this was again something, you got the recording and it was perfect from the first note to this last note. And I have some things when they ask me, how should I do the video? And then I say, could you maybe do 3 shots, full run? One, you just look into the camera, one is looking to the side. And he did all that, and he wasn't happy with some shots where there was a little thing on his teeth. And I said, nobody will see that. Nobody will see that. Forget it. Because it had to be exactly like he looked in that moment. It was so cool.
Yeah.
I think it's around 2 minutes and 30. So don't look to the teeth.
Look at you. Sorry, Tim.
Tim is wonderful. A wonderful person. Absolutely. I love him.
Yeah, he's a massive friend of mine and friend of the channel too. He's been on here. I've interviewed him on here. And you're right. His voice is just butter.
Yeah,
it's to die for. It melts you.
Yeah. Excellent.
All right, guys. So grab yourself a seat, relax, and I'm just going to put Ingo on mute, and then we're going to play this. This is How to Save a Life, the Frey cover featuring Tim Roberts on vocals, and we'll see you back here shortly. Enjoy the music. Oh, yeah.
Step one, you say we need to talk. He walks, you say sit down, it's just a talk. He smiles politely back at you. You stare politely right on through. Some sort of window to your right. She goes left and you stay right. Between the lines of fear and blame, you begin to wonder why you came. Where did I go wrong? I lost a friend somewhere along in the bitterness, and I would have stayed up with you all night had I known how to save a life. Let her know that you know best, 'cause after all, you do know best. Try to slip past his defense, without granting innocence. Lay down a list of what is wrong, things you told him all along. Pray to God he hears you, and I pray to God he hears you. And where did I go wrong? I lost a friend somewhere along in the bitterness, and I would have stayed up with you all night had I known how to save a life. Where did I go wrong? I lost a friend somewhere along in the bitterness, and I would have stayed up with you all night had I known how to save a life. How to save a life. How to save a life. Where did I go wrong? I lost a friend somewhere along in the bitterness, and I would have stayed up with you all night had I known how to save a life. I lost a friend in the bitterness, and I would have stayed up with you all night had I known how to save a life. How to save a life. How to save a life.
Wow. Oh, Jesus. And you are not alone, folks. So remember that. A really powerful message in this song as well. Let's bring Ingo's vocal back
Tim.
in here. Yeah,
Such a great guy.
beautiful stuff. And, you know, a really amazing message in there too. Folks, if you are feeling like low and you're struggling with things, there are always numbers out there. There's always people within this community. Reach out to people, and I'll tell you what, there will be it'll be like a mosh pit. 1,000 hands will reach down and try and pull you up. Yeah. So always remember that. Don't do it alone. Don't do it alone. And Tim, perfect choice for that song too, because he's such an emotional vocalist, and you can see it. You can see it in the performance. You're right, Ingo. You want to capture that moment with him because he's so passionate.
Yeah. It was absolutely great.
Yeah.
So, and I remember it was his song choice actually. So, and he wanted to push this message. It was really something he was really serious about.
Of course, he's going to choose a song that's really hard to play.
Yeah.
Of course, it's really hard to sing.
He did it like this. Come on.
Yeah, of course he's going to do that. It's
Not too hard to him.
Yeah, no, exactly. Not hard for him, because he is a pro. That's exactly it. All right, so let's say hello to the folks in the chat. So, folks, what I'm going to get you to do to make life easier for me is right now in the chat, if you're in front of your screen, type something so I can see your name and I can try and get out to all of you. Let's do a roll call. PJ Kobe, is it Fremic, SLA, Ivan Ideal, Velton Kinder, Eileen, Tremor Bear, SM Borthwick, Thomas Christ, Kim Harden Hudson, Feisty Feather. Who else do we have here? Did I say Thomas Christ? JDL is here as well. Look at it all. Oh my God. The Falcro. Keonra Music, Gregory O'Sullivan, Hetriani, Joe Glenn, the Lily Pillies, Forest of the Wolf Official, Russ8889, Cy F, and good to see you, Paying to Get, Ching Ching, who else? Clayton Von Kluge, Alex Backus, my lord, you're all here, Deep Gravity, Ace Guitar Covers, Sith Vasquez, Michael aka Zealand, Auntie G, Adam Burse. Wow, thank you all for being here. Doorways into Music. I think I've got most people. Thank you all for typing and doing the right thing. makes my life easier than scrolling. So
wow, I'm smashed away.
Yeah.
Great, you're all here. Thank you.
I absolutely knew there's going to be a lot of people here today because your music does reach so many people, and your channel is growing such an exponential rate, and it's really exciting. L'Reality as well, I see you too. I haven't missed you. Eileen Leany Perez as well. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. You guys rock. All right, let me jump and find here. Where was I going to go next? I'm so disorganized now. So you mentioned at the beginning of the show that your dad played classical music and it wasn't your thing. So how did you fall into this orchestral music thing? And is this, do you do this? Do you make music for a living? Like away from playing in bands, I'm curious what you do outside of this.
I'm an audio engineer, so I'm working on the public broadcast and do music recordings. And mostly I do orchestral recordings, but I also do pop stuff. So if you see festivals on the TV, so this is where I work, for example. We have some big festivals here in Germany, like Rock am Ring and Hurricane Festival, where are 80,000 people, and I'm lucky to be one of the guys who do the audio stuff for the television. But it's 80% classical music I do, and maybe 20% of pop, rock, other stuff.
Yeah, I kind of assumed by the quality of the music that you create that you had your foot somewhere entrenched in the industry, because hey, let's be honest, you produce music at such a fast rate that there has to be some kind of high standard up there to keep creating such high quality music at such a fast rate. It baffles me at how quick you release stuff. And we'll talk about what you did for me later on as well, because I was blown away by that too. So I'm guessing you get to rub shoulders with some pretty cool artists in that kind of role.
Yeah, I had some nice events. So to name a few, Tom Walker, who is maybe in the UK, he's quite famous young artist. I did Black Rebel MC from the US. I did The Prodigy, Billy Talent, Foo Fighters, and the Berlin Symphonics, which is kind of the best orchestra in the world.
Yeah, just a few, nobody's there, just the Foo Fighters and the Prodigy, and just that's awesome, man. That is so cool.
Yeah, but people have maybe some weird thoughts about this. So, of course, I didn't meet Dave Grohl or somebody from the band. Yeah. You have contact with the manager, and you're lucky enough to get a rider a day before. And when you come to the ground in the morning, I remember Foo Fighters was main act on Hurricane, and they did the build-up for the stage from 7 a.m. in the morning for the show, which was 11 p.m. in the night. And so I had to be there at 7 a.m. to get a talk with the audio engineer from the band and get some notes from him. And then some roadies play 5-minute sound check for you. And we get the stream via Dante audio, so it's network audio. And we had really trouble to get it work in the time they gave us. But they were super cool. I remember they had a stage manager, really old guy, I don't know, maybe above 60, I would say. And he was so relaxed. Everybody around him, I guess they had a crew of 80 or 100 people walking around, doing everything, building everything up. And he went over the stage with me. So, Ingo, yeah, let's see. So this is the drum set. And he has these microphones, and you have to be careful with this instrument. And here's the keyboards, and we have this signals. Like 20 minutes within all this trouble, he was like in another world. So what I can say is the higher level these bands are, the more easy it is to work with them.
Yeah.
Because they are pros and they await that you are a pro too. and you do your job.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's I think a lot of people don't understand too, because hey, you go to a gig and you see these huge acts, and I don't think people understand exactly what goes on behind the scenes to create these events. I mean, it's a high pressure game. You know, you have trucks loading in, you have crews unloading these trucks, you have people running between the gear unloading, roadies to engineers to, you know, just gaffer taping everything down. To put all this magical stuff together is high pressure.
And they are super pros. So
Yep.
it's really, this is a machine or an industry. It's like really you have a industrial plant that is traveling around the world, and it has to work. This is really exciting. So it was fun stuff, and I had wet hands when the show started.
I'll bet.
And I remember after 19 minutes in the show, the stunt stream was killed. Like I had nothing on the desk besides the stereo sum from the FOH engineer and my Atmo microphones. So I was like, what the fuck? And I had to call my assistant via the radio and say, go do anything. And I don't know, after 30 seconds, everything was back again, but I died. I was like, wow.
So I guess too, we're in an age now where people are all radioed up, and you know you can communicate that way. You think back maybe 40 years ago, it wasn't like that. You had to relay messages to somebody to run on the stage and do this. You know, and I'm guessing like with big productions like that, you would have two. Would have your main engineering desk, and then you've got another one up on the side of the stage as well. It is a lot of things that, you know, because does it work like that for a lot of those big events? From what I've seen as a performer anyway, there's a lot of things like that.
So on the stage, they of course have a monitor desk where they do all the monitor stuff for the artists, and they of course have the desk for the front of house, and I get kind of a copy of all the signals. You can do that with Mardi or with Dante Streams, or earlier you had these really huge split boxes where you got all the analog signals split up, so you have exactly the same signals as the colleagues from the front of house have, and you do your own mix, because it's really different to do audio for like TV or stereo set and do it for a huge live PA system. So it makes a difference to mix it separately.
Absolutely. I always find that part of live engineering super interesting, that, you know, you've got a front of house mix, which is the audience. That's catering completely to the audience. And then that little side, you've got to have a mix for the band, you know, the picky band who are always like, hey, turn up my guitar, because that's a totally different mix. And, you know,
Absolutely.
If you only had one desk mixing for the band, it would sound like utter shit going out to the audience, because it would all be guitar.
It's really like that, because I also have the sum of the front of house desk as an emergency case, which I needed back then. And it really sounds different, because these PA systems are so overloaded on bass, for example. Because you want to feel the music when you're on the concert. But what it does is, when you listen to it on not this PA system, but on your stereo speakers at home, there's no bass at all. Because they don't have to boost it. The signal comes like out of it, and it's mono. So usually a live mix is more mono than stereo. So it's a different thing. So
has doing that as a profession, does that really help you with to create the amazing tracks that you help with mixing in your tiny little? I'm not saying tiny, but you know,
it's tiny. Yes, it's the rooftop of my house here, and I have a little corner besides what everybody has on the rooftop. To be honest, so it's like my keyboard is here, and I'm looking in the monitor where my door is on, and I have nothing besides that.
I love that we all have these tiny little spaces in the universe these days where we create the most epic music. It's such a beautiful thing. So I want to ask about your songwriting. Are you a sight reader? Do you score music? Is this part of your skill set?
No, I
Wow.
can't score. I do this by ear. And the fun thing is to translate the pop instrumentation to this orchestral world. And this was the challenge I put myself on before I decided to go to YouTube with this stuff. So actually, of course, it's a child born in the pandemic, because there were no concerts I could record. I was stuck at home and needed something to do. And the first year of the pandemic, I cared on my lawn, and I was really into lawn, like really into lawn. And then it got boring, and I packed my MIDI stuff out again, which I didn't use for a longer time, and did so many things and started things and didn't end up with something. And then I decided, okay, I have to have a target, a goal. So my goal is to do one song a week until this time is over, until we do usual things again. And yeah, that's where I am. I do one song a week, which is kind of time intense. Sometimes it works good. Sometimes it's really stressful. Sometimes it's easier than I thought. Depends on the song.
So the pandemic was the birth of this very YouTube channel right here, which currently has 1.26k subscribers. If you're not subscribed, where the bloody hell are you? Get over and subscribe right now, because you're missing out. So the pandemic, and yeah, let's talk about that. The inconvenience, as I like to call it, because for some people, a lot of people actually, it has been an inconvenience, and they are no longer with us. So here's where I fall into a very hard moral debate, because for me, the pandemic actually allowed me to blossom. And I know some people did blossom, and of course some people struggled a lot. And I feel guilt over that sometimes. But and I know we've had guests on here and talked about it as well. And what's beautiful, out has come this very website. Out has come this as Black Covers.
Thank you.
So it's a beautiful thing, because it leads me into the way you choose singers for these songs, because it's one of the things that I think is really a beautiful thing. Not only are you super talented, and your music's absolutely perfect. It just is. You nail it every time. How do you go about searching for a singer? What are the qualities that you look for to match a voice with a song? And is it always the same kind of pattern to do so?
I started off because I didn't know too many singers who would do this on air gigs, and for maybe the first 10 songs I bought singers, and I don't know if you're familiar with Fiverr or with air gigs, so you can check them out.
Fiverr. What was your success rate with Fiverr? Because there's a lot of horror stories.
I did air gigs, and one time I did Fiverr, and Fiverr was the one thing I didn't use.
Right.
So this was not usable. Air gigs, super cool, super great people over there, and I thought, I'm on the lucky side, because the pandemic don't make my business, because I'm employed. so I didn't have to struggle with money or something like that. And there are so many people, and I know so many pro recordings and musicians who really struggled in that time, who their money broke away. And I thought, how could I help somebody and make it a win-win situation? So all these singers who do this air gig thing, of course, earn some money with it, and they can't earn doing concerts at that moment. So I thought, oh, that's cool. I can give somebody something for his art, and he can do his art. So this was the start point. And after a while, when I got to meet all these people around at Hippie, at Pete John's, you slowly build up a network. And of course, you start asking people if they could imagine doing something with you. And I always, when I search for a singer, I look at what he or she does, and I have an imagination what he reminds me of, or what can I relate with the voice. And then I do maybe 5 or 10 song suggestions, and we both decide for one song, and it usually works quite well. Sometimes it's different. Sometimes the singer comes and says, I want to do this song. And if I like the song and if I can imagine that we can do it, we'll do it. And the choice of songs is really kind of a hard thing to do, actually. There are so many songs, and I'm trying to make a guess before I start if this will have any chance. So on YouTube, I wouldn't do an Ed Sheeran song, for example, because you don't have to start with something like this because you're the 1.5 millionth copy of that song and nobody will ever hear it. This is what I think it is. So I started on songs that are not so familiar, so popular. But the good thing on that is if somebody searches for this particular song, he might find me more in the upper 200 songs of the list.
Yep.
But sometimes it doesn't.
It's interesting, you know, I've sat here myself and thought in my private time, if I got to do a song with you, what would I want to do? What would I want to do? And, you know, I've thought about it for a long, long time. And I know I do have a song in my mind, which I think I would love to do. And it would probably surprise people. I would love to do that Joe Cocker song, You Are So Beautiful. I would love to do that. I think that song is so, so sexy. And I think Joe Cocker's a really underappreciated artist. But
would be great.
Yeah, and we've got to work together, which we'll talk about later on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play another track, and then we're going to come back and do our sponsor, and we'll talk more about the process of you actually recording stuff. So okay. I think I'm going to choose from my list. I'm choosing at random because I love doing it. I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to choose... Why not? There we go. I've started it by accident. So this is an Evanescence song, Call Me When You're Sober. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this before we jump into it?
Yeah, this is one of these things where it really fits together perfectly. Like I met Christelle. I hope she is pronounced Christelle. I don't know exactly.
Christelle
Forgive
Kennedy.
me if it's not. Christelle Kennedy from Canada. I met her right in the beginning, so somehow these connections are weird. I don't know where one finds the other. And she has this really unique, outstanding, almost operatic voice, and was the perfect fit for this song. And I suggested it to her, and she said, yeah, this is one of my most loved songs. And it was, yeah, great.
Awesome. Let's do it. So, folks, this is Call Me When You're Sober, an Evanescence cover, Black Covers featuring Christelle Kennedy. So kick back, enjoy yourself, because this is damn cool. We'll see you on the other side of it. Alrighty, let's rock and roll. Boom.
Don't cry to me if you love me. You want me here with me. You want me, come find me. Make up your Should I let you fall, lose it all, so maybe you can remember yourself? Can't keep believing we're only deceiving ourselves, and I'm sick of the lie. And you're too late. Don't cry to me if you love me. You won't be here with me. You want me, come find me. Make up your mind. Couldn't take the blame. Sick with shame. Must be exhausting to lose your own game. Selfishly hated, no wonder you're jaded. You can't play the victim this time. And you're too late. Don't cry to me if you love me. You want me here with me. You want me, come find me. Make up your mind. You never call me when you're sober. You only want it 'cause it's over. It's over. Don't cry to me if you love me. You want me here with me. Don't lie to me. Just get your fix. Make up your mind.
Jesus, why, Lord? Wow.
Christelle is absolutely wonderful.
If you could see my goosebumps right now, the goosebumps are strong with this one. I'm sure everyone else, and as you can see, everybody else in the chat is just loving. What a
Thank you so
fantastic
much, everybody. It's real.
Yeah,
I'm blushed.
and look, guys, the thing to do, I'm sure, if you go through the actual list on Ingo's YouTube channel, there's a ton of stuff that you've probably missed along the way. So I do recommend after the show, go and catch up, because there are, like I did it last night. I was just going through, wow, there's so much stuff there that is incredible. It's such a broad variety. Speaking of a broad variety, it is time for me to talk about our amazing sponsor, folks, who without this sponsorship, we would not be able to keep the lights on, as they say. So, folks, I want to give a big call out to DistroKid because they are awesome. Thank you so much, DistroKid, for sponsoring the show. There's a link in the description, people, as always, if you would like to release your music, because from as little as $19.99 a year, you can release an unlimited amount of music through DistroKid. An unlimited amount of songs, unlimited upload your unlimited lyrics. You can have a Spotify check mark and you collect your earnings and you can split them with other artists. $20 a year, unlimited music. It is an absolutely killer deal. If you use my link in the description, you get 7% off your first year, and there are other plans as well. So there's a musician's plan, which is $35.99 a year, where you get 2 artist names, which, hey, we all live in a world where we like to have multiple personalities these days. So you get a whole lot of extras for being on the $35.99 plan a year, and you still will get your 7% off if you use the code as well. Plus, if you're a label and you've got multiple artists like myself, you can do the $79.99 plan a year where you get 5 artists that you can release. Things like synced lyrics to Instagram, daily sales stats, customized label name, customizable release dates, customizable pre-order dates. Pre-orders are cool. I love doing that. iTunes pricing, customizable, and a whole bunch more. So definitely worth your time to jump onto DistroKid because they are awesome. And here is my DistroKid channel here. And as you can see, I have released a track with Ingo, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but here it is. So I released this track, I think it was this year. I think it was. Yeah, it was this year. I can't remember.
Was around Christmas.
Yeah, or maybe early last year. It was December 27. There you go. So Ingo was kind enough to put a backing track to one of my original songs, which I didn't expect. It was a beautiful gesture, but we will talk about it later. So this track is on DistroKid, but look, if you have already released DistroKid, your music on DistroKid, a good thing to do is check out your releases, scroll down till you get to this section here of stores, and hit add more stores. And guess what? They're always updating their stores. And as you can see here, I have 2 new stores I can add to my list. So now that'll process, and probably very shortly, all that song will be spread across more artists. And as you can see here, these are the stores that goes out to, and these ones have a few less. So again, I can click on any of these, like my FMC Community Colostomy Bag album. I know it's a disgusting name. And click on more stores, and I can add more stores very easily like this. Done. Added. So before we move on, I just want to show you one more little cool feature with DistroKid. It is in the goodies section. And if you want to try, and a lot of people try to get their music on Spotify playlists, yeah? Because that's where it's at. So there is a way to do it. If you click on goodies, hit get heard now, and it's a fun way too. It is the wheel of playlist. So if I click on this, you can actually spin the wheel and see if you can get your song on a playlist. So I'm going to pick a song. Let's pick the most disgusting song I can find. Placenta, Pancakes, and Puke is one of my songs. Now, I just got to jump over to us for a minute because I have to connect to Spotify. And I'm not going to show you all my passwords. So, all right. Are we connecting? Yes, we're connected now. I can come back. So now I get 3 spins. Hit the magic button. If I can do it, spin the wheel, and you get 3 spins a day. And let's see where I get. So, that wasn't too high. 1,091 on the playlist wheel. Let's see what else I can get. Come on, big winner. No, not a good one there. Let's see. Come on, let's go. Number one. I got position 630. So there you go. And every day you can go back and you can do that. And you can do it with all your songs, yeah? So it's the wheel. The magic wheel. Anyway, that is our sponsor. Thank you once again, DistroKid. You guys rock. I release all my music through them. And, I do recommend, if you want to release music, cheapest, best, awesome way to do it. So many free things that you can do with it. It is absolutely fantastic. Plus, if you're like Ingo, who releases covers, you can release covers too, and you can pay a price to get the licensing for it. So that's really cool as well. Thank you, DistroKid. Love your guts. Links in the description. Use that 7%. Mwah! DistroKid. Okay, let's hit this button here so I can bring some music back into the fray. And I want to now ask you, my friend, so you choose your singers, and now we touched on this at the beginning of the show, getting people to record their parts and, you know, make sure they're of a high quality. Now, I'll run through the way Ingo, because I was lucky enough to be a part of the Christmas song that Ingo did, Mariah Carey, and most of you know how much I love Mariah Carey. So it was a challenge, let me tell you. But I did get to wear a gimp suit, so that made me happy.
But you were so cool on it. Like, I asked you, and yes, of course, I do it.
Yeah.
And you were so fast on bringing back the stuff.
That's a surprise. No,
and the video was awesome.
Well, you know, I knew I hated singing Mariah Carey, but I had to say, at least I'm going to wear a gimp suit in it, because everyone else is like going to be all glammed up and happy. And I'm like, yeah, it's Christmas. I'll wear a gimp suit. Why not? But so the process was that you sent to me was the actual recording of the Mariah Carey song. Then you sent along the was that it? That was it, yeah.
That was it, yes.
Yeah, and then
but this was special because I normally don't do it the way like this. So I usually do a demo, so you actually hear my version of it, and I separate the original vocals and put it on.
Yep.
So I send two versions, one with vocals and one without. So as a singer, you have an idea where the voice sits in the mix and how I think it could be. And then you sing on the orchestral part and hopefully send me back the very cool vocals. Everybody does great.
Yeah, I had a bit of fun with it too. I think I sung some kind of odd stuff. I think I sung it really low because there's no way I was going to be able to sing Mariah Carey. I think it was like, I just wanted. I tried to do a bit of Mike Patton kind of thing. Look, and it was super easy too because you send the BPM. We know what everything is. I just dragged it into GarageBand.
Yeah.
Within a second, I had it all. I don't even know if I've got the GarageBand project still. I probably still do. How I did it. And yeah, it was so easy just to send back to you. And I was blown away at how it came out. Like when I saw the video, it was like, wow, all this came from just me sitting in front of my iPad and just making a total dick of myself in my gimp suit.
But that song really was a puzzle. So this was challenging for me. Definitely.
Yeah. So when did you start, like that song in particular, because it was a Christmas song, when did you start planning that? Because it seemed like it came together so quickly.
Yeah, I think I sent the first email on it mid of October to somebody. So the first thing was I had the song, I had the lyrics, and I thought, okay, how many people do I need to let everybody sing a line?
Yep.
And it was around 30 or so. And I know how busy people are, so I had to figure out I need maybe double of these folks to get everybody in the end, or every part in the end, because somebody won't make it due of time things, and somebody may say, yeah, I will do it, but then hops off again, which is fine, and life is like that. So, but I had to have a backup singer part for every part I had in mind, and it was really a big spreadsheet of me making notice who did I already call up, what is the status of that, do I have things back, do I have the vocals back, do I have the video back, whom do I have to ask again, do you remember we wanted to do this thing? And I was really happy when it was finished.
Yep. Right?
And I'm so thankful for everybody who does this quatsch. Markus, what is quatsch in English?
What is
Like
what?
nonsense. I
No
think.
nonsense.
I'm so thankful for everybody who just goes along with it and says, "Yeah, I do it. Cool." Like so many wonderful people. It's really Viv. Yeah,
It was like a who's who.
you have
Like
to check out Viv. She is fantastic.
yeah.
You have to
Like
check out everybody.
and what was really interesting too when it hit, I don't know. I don't think any of us knew who was going to be in it. So when we all saw it for
Yeah.
the first time, we were like, "Oh, you're in it!" And I was like, "Oh, Pete's in it as well." It was like a cavalcade, a who's who of the YouTube singing world.
Yeah, and it was like this was my thought, like a little Christmas present for everybody involved. So
Yeah, it was
fun.
so beautifully done. Let me just skip to my demented bit here. There you go. So look, everyone's so beautiful. Look at how beautiful everybody is. They're all looking fantastic. And then it gets, and I was sitting there waiting for me, going, "Oh, this is going to be the," and there's me, totally demented. Merry Christmas, everybody. Like a scene from Pulp Fiction. Really great stuff. You got to have some fun over Christmas. So, what is your recording process to put together these orchestral pieces? Like, what gear do you use? I can see a keyboard there to the side of you, and how long does it take? Like, what software do you use to put all this stuff together?
I'm working with Cubase since decades, and I'm super used to it. I have a keyboard. I have some quite good sample packs, so I do most of my stuff is Spitfire Audio,
Right.
which is a really cool company doing excellent sample libraries. They are really huge. So for example, I think the first violin, if I load it up completely, takes 1.5 gigabyte RAM. And that's because they on classical instruments, you can play them with really different techniques, and it's called articulations. So you have a violin, and this violin is recorded like like bowing. It's recorded with pizzicato, with staccato, with legato, with all these Italian super cool names. And every articulation has a different sound, and you're used to what it should sound like if it's real. And what I do, or what you do then, is you play a line with the piano. I start with the piano sound. So I listen to the track, and first I make a piano track of it, and then I orchestrate it. And in this orchestration, for example, you have a 16th run, like do 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 do, and you really have to make sure that this sounds kind of realistic, and you have to think about how would a cello play this double bowing stuff. And maybe for brass instruments or for wood instruments, could the player really play what I do in the keyboard here? So
Yep.
there are so many aspects to make a most possible realistic mock-up, I would say. So of course it's you have to kind of know where the range of a particular instrument is. So a flute doesn't have the range of a bassoon, for example. And when this all comes together, and I did hopefully the right thing, it kind of has a realistic feel to it. I hope so.
Oh, it absolutely does. And that's something I want to touch on that you just brought up there is I talked about it a couple of weeks ago when I did a show doing drums for Joe and Barry Glenn. It is important to try, when you are trying to recreate these instruments using a keyboard sitting in your little studio, to try and sit like an actor in a way, to sit in the shoes of what that instrumentalist is. And I talked about this with being a drummer. If you're trying to put together a drum kit with samples, say in GarageBand, you can't have a snare being hit at the same time as a ride, as a crash and a toms.
Exactly.
You have to think about, you've only got two arms. So, and I think a lot of people fall into that trap when they're doing things like drums. They forget that, I have all these amazing samples at my hands. I'll just put them all in and make it sound like the best drummer of all time. And it's like, there's no drummer that can do that, folks. It's going to sound stupid. Yeah. So I'm guessing, like with doing God, I'm having a brain meltdown. Doing orchestral music would be exactly the same, yeah?
It is. So, for example, a flute player has to breathe at some point. So you can't let him play the same note for minutes, because he can't. And there are some things that makes it realistic besides just playing the notes. It's I always try to not overdo the orchestration. Like I orientate myself on how is the symphonic orchestra built up, how many players are there. So it won't sound realistic if you just put on more and more and more and more. Like you have, I don't know, 30 celli or something like that. It doesn't sound realistic. It's there are certain things, and you are so used to this classic sound. You know it from everywhere. So it's really commonly known sound, how it should sound if it's real. And you have to try to be in this spot to make it real.
Do you put together these pieces and I did this for a long time, creating music or recording music. I never knew I did this until I had an amazing engineer in the studio who I paid to give me some advice, tell me to pull things back because I didn't realize I would pile so much on. But the beauty, the art of bringing it all together is having that restraint at the end, because it's okay to pile things on and fill everything up, but it's having the ability at the end, having the restraint to go, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. And it's a really hard thing to do. Do you struggle with things like that?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm always, I have a hard time on reducing. So I didn't do this orchestral stuff before a year and a half or so. Before I did every kind of music, like techno music, house music, rock and roll, and especially in the 90s. Russ will know exactly what I mean. It is so hard to put yourself back or the music back to do really minimalistic things that makes it groove and makes it sound cool. So my fun is to put more, and you can do this on the orchestral side really good. So because actually it is like you have to. It's like puzzle playing, right? So orchestral music is like you have a 10,000 piece puzzle, and you can put stuff, and at some point you say, this is where it should be. And you can't do this with any other kind of music, I guess, because as you say, in a rock and roll band, there's a drum, there's a bass, there's two guitars and a singer, and then it sounds cool, and it does sound cool, but it's kind of maybe boring to just play around this scenery if you did it before. I wanted to do something new for me, so I wanted to learn.
And I guess another challenge too, because a lot of orchestral music doesn't have a vocalist to it, so you've got to leave room in there for that vocal part that's got to come in as well to complement that stuff. So, and as you said, you send out the music without the vocals, but with a vocal idea there. So do you find that sometimes when somebody sends something back with a vocal, you have to remove some stuff to, to allow that vocal to breathe?
And I write every vocalist I'm starting to work with. Be aware that this is a demo. So I do the arrangement until a certain point where it is not perfect at all, but I need the vocals to finish the arrangement, to leave spots and to see where there is places to be filled. And so they get a kind of rudiment arrangement where they have an idea how it would sound, but it's far from the finished stuff.
With your music that you do, I like to call those parts, and I can probably assume just from listening to it where you do that. They're those goosebump moments, probably where you put in a big cymbal crashing in as the vocalist hits a pot, because within orchestral music, those crashes are the moments that really bring the waves and floods of emotions and goosebumps. So do you do the? I'm curious to. Are the big crashes and stuff? Are they stuff you would add towards the end of the mix, or is that?
Yeah. This is the cherries on the pie. So there are some instruments like that. It's like the timpanis, the glockenspiel.
The glockenspiel.
The most part is really the basic stuff, which until a certain point really sounds super boring, and then you add one thing like a glockenspiel, and it goes like, yeah, this is now it gets something. It's definitely like that. And the fun part on the orchestral stuff is usually you don't care about dynamics, you don't care about tempo changes in pop music, and I didn't either before I started. I was the loudest mix is the coolest mix, and the bass drum hits you right from the throne. So the cool stuff here was to really work with dynamics, to really use this whole space of dynamics, this organic thing when you don't have the tempo from the beginning until the end on 130 BPM, but change it within the music. So the verse is a little slower than the chorus, and it gets organic. And I really want to try that.
Well, the way you're doing it is working absolutely brilliant. You're putting the X in sex as far as I'm concerned. And speaking of, I'm going to play another track because this song I think is amazing. And it features somebody who I had on the show very recently, Mark Tanner. This was
excellent.
Tell us how
Mark
this came about. How did this come about?
Mark actually asked me if we want to do something together, and he had I don't remember the name of the song. It was something from Australia, an Australian artist I wasn't aware of, and he wanted to do a cover of it. And this was one of the songs I didn't put on my channel. We released it on his channel, and we said, okay, we did one track for your channel, and let us think about a song which I can put on my channel. And he came up with another song from Leonard Cohen, and I had the feeling that might not get the attention it should get. And I said, okay, if we do Cohen, then let's go for the Cohen song, and do Hallelujah. And I knew he would just do fantastic, and with his very own signature voice he has. I saw the interview with you, and I couldn't more agree. As you said, the most cool thing a singer can have is a signature voice you can, at the moment from this very first note, you know, okay, this is Mark Tanner. It's a Mark Tanner song. And he has that. He is such a great guy. And as everybody else, Mark is such a nice person and
Yeah.
totally stress-free, and you can really talk things like, I could imagine doing this line differently, and he says, yeah, cool, I do it, no problem. And you have the recording half a day later or so. I love it. I love him.
Yeah, there's nothing sexier than a unique voice. And it's really hard to achieve these days, you know, that you hear somebody's voice and instantly go, I know who that is. You know, we're in a world where so much is getting so more and more generic. And, you know, with a lot of pop music I hear these days, I don't know who they are. They got great voices. They're probably discovered on American Idol. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's something about a unique voice. It's like I mentioned, like Joe Cocker. I did a Joe Cocker song on my opening hour a couple of weeks ago, and while I was singing, it was like, my Lord, this dude is amazing. I've never sung one of his songs before, and now, and then after the show, I went and sung about 20 of his songs, and I fell in love with him. Holy shit, such a unique voice. All right, so let's play this. This is, of course, Hallelujah, and featuring Mark Tanner. So, folks, kick back, enjoy. This one is wicked, and we'll see you on the other side of it. Rock and roll.
Now I've heard there was a secret chord that David played, and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor falls, the major lifts, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to a kitchen chair, she broke your throne and she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, people, I've been here before. I know this room and I've walked this floor. You see, I used to live alone before I knew you. And I've seen your flag on the marble arch. But love is not some victory march. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
fuck me drunk. Wow.
Mark Tanner, he is the man.
Yeah, Mark Tanner and Ingo from Black Covers. What an amazing combination. I mean, if that didn't get you excited in your pants, I don't know what will. Absolutely stunning stuff. Stunning, as Gordon Ramsay would say. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm speechless. I am after every one of your songs that you produce. So it's an absolute credit to you how you pull this stuff off. So we've gone through the process of doing this. I want to talk about of how you reach out to the artists, how you put together the songs, what you use to do it. I want to talk about the videos that you put together. So what goes into making the videos? Because they're of a really high caliber as well too. I mean, you know, we're in a day and age where videos are important. They engage, you know, and so what is your process to putting together a video for your YouTube channel?
Actually, I was a complete newbie to videos when I started this. I had no idea on video editing, never used a video editing system, software. I didn't know where I could find material. But I had the ideas. This music translates, it's something like cinema. It has to be cinematic, because you have an imagination when you hear this music, and it relates to movies and stuff like that. So my idea was how to push the effect of the music through visuals. And yeah, I don't know. It's not, you can't just show the singer or you show me playing the keyboard. It has to have something bigger than that. And I'm still learning on this. I'm making some progress for myself. I can do it faster now than I did it in the beginning. I have another, so when you watch some of my very first videos, you will hopefully see a difference to the videos I do now. I try to get it a musical language in the video editing. And
So
of course, the most stuff is B-roll stuff from, I use Storyblocks.
Yep.
As a provider for my video stuff, and I try to integrate the singer in the scenery. So I'm influenced by maybe the original video, a good Beispiel. I don't know Beispiel. Markus Beispiel. A good thing is my last track with Lenny, with Eileen. The original video is a 70s video with this typical 70s video look, and I tried to reinforce this with the video we did. Yeah, this is my approach.
What video editing software do you use to put it all together? So I use Storyblocks in LumaFusion. It's wicked. There's so much stuff in there. What do you use to piece together your videos?
I use Premiere, Adobe Premiere. And I really had to work my way into that. So it was kind of a complete new world to me. And I think it is not the easiest, as all the Adobe products. They have a weird philosophy on the GUI, to my mind. It's not self declaring how it works. I didn't check LumaFusion yet. Maybe I will. I started using After Effects.
Yep.
Which is kind of, oh my God, it's a complete new world and really, really hard for me to learn that. But there are some cool effects you can do with that. So I took the pain and learned.
And how essential is green screens for your videos?
Actually, I'm not so much a fan of green screen. So if people ask me, should I stand in front of a green screen, I say you don't have to. Better for me, actually, it's better to maybe a white wall or a black plain background, because I think if you don't set up a green screen set really well,
Yep.
you always have trouble with it, because when you have shadows on the green screen, you won't get a good result printing it out, because you see the darker parts, you can't really key it out very good, and you might have this I don't know what it's called,
The
the
outline.
edges,
Yep.
the outline. So what I do prefer, and I think it's much easier, you do a mask on the singer, but you leave a space, and you can fade it out. So you go darker on the outside, and it looks, to my eyes, it looks much more naturally, because you don't have these hard edges you have when you do it by a green screen. And I try to mix it with the background, that you don't see much around him. But when you notice, or when you will look on the details of the video, you always notice there is some parts of the backing where the singer actually stands. You can see that, but to my eyes, it looks quite natural.
Yeah, look,
In the end,
green
it's a
screens are
zero
tough.
budget production.
Yeah, well, we luckily, a lot of us live in that world now where we have zero production because we have this such amazing software. And you're right, you know, with green screens, lighting, I saw somebody wrote that in the chat. Lighting is so important. Because you know you have to be able to light it, or you end up with. And I do see it, and I'm not like, you know, hanging shit on anybody who has this in videos, because I do see it in videos where somebody's playing guitar and all of a sudden their arm disappears. It's really hard to key in green screen unless you have serious lighting. Like here in my studio, see if I can get this second cam running up here. Like I have serious lights each day.
Yep.
In front of me to light up, and even those aren't enough to do what I actually need to do. You know, I really should have a light in the middle and one at the back, you know, to really get an amazing green screen. I mean, I shot a video for my band Metheist, and I went down into my carport in my garage and took my lights down, set up the camera, set up the green screen. And my Lord, most of the time it took to actually get the video shot over 2 days was the lighting. The lighting was so hard. It did my head in. I will never hang shit on people who do lighting ever again, because it's very, very difficult.
You have to know what you do. Yeah, I respect those people very much.
Definitely a skill. So, as I said, your channel, let me bring it up here without playing music. Let's do this. So you are flying by with subscribers. How has that been since, you know, just kicking off this channel, a year ago? The pandemic, it's probably a bit longer than that. And all of a sudden you have so many subscribers. Has it been, how's it been for you to, that kind of feeling?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So I'm so thankful that people like the stuff I do. I never expected that. I had no idea, because I was a user before, so I was not into YouTube as a creator. I had no idea what it's going to be, and my expectations were, okay, maybe some friends of mine are so nice to watch if I tell them to watch. And it came step by step. So I'm super thankful for everybody who likes it.
Are there any apps you use, and they don't need to be music apps, don't need to be iOS specific or like Mac or PC? Do you have like a handful of things that you go to? Like it could be like, you know, I use Notepad every day for. Are there things that you use on any devices or on your computers that help you to create music?
Maybe I start with something really different. Like I'm using TubeBuddy and I love it. So for YouTube creator, I think this is a really cool tool.
Yeah.
Because it helps to understand YouTube a little better, understand this SEO stuff and how important it seems to be to use to choose a title for your thing and to put some keywords into it. If you read my descriptions, they really sound like crap if you read them, but it looks like YouTube likes that it's written like that, because TubeBuddy has a little tool. You can type the text into it, and there is a percentage. It gets higher and higher if you follow some advices there. So if you mention the title name often enough, and it really helps. It helps me figure out if a song is worth doing it, because you can see kind of a quote, how many people did this song, how many people want to watch it, how many people watched it in the last 28 days for something like that. So this is a tool. I think I would miss it if I didn't have it.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. Pete Johns got me onto TubeBuddy when I first started my channel a bit over 2 years ago, and it is free, folks. So like if you are a YouTube creator, it's tubebuddy.com, so you can use the free version. And I think if you sign up and join and choose to pay, and you have under 1,000 subscribers, you get a severe discount as well. You get a nice big discount. I think it works out to be like $1.50 or something, or $2 a month kind of thing. So really worth your time, because it pre-populates tags. It gives you really in-depth analysis, and as Ingo
really
said,
cool.
prompts you to help you get a better result in your searches and stuff like that. So I concur 100%. It's been a massive help for me putting together stuff. So, and it's free, folks. Definitely, there it is. That is the website. You can install it. What it does is it installs into your YouTube. So it integrates as part of you. There's no like separate app. It just integrates into your YouTube channel. And it's fantastic. Lovely choice. Good one.
Yeah.
Anything else that you use?
I use Canva for my thumbs, which is a really cool online tool to create graphics. Maybe for other folks who want to do covers, you have a problem on YouTube, which is the licensing. And I, for me, found a way to deal with it with a website called wearethehits.com, because they provide sync licenses for you. So before you upload a song to YouTube, you upload it to their systems, and they connect it to the copyright owners of the song, and what you get is a sync license. So you are officially allowed to do a cover of the song, and the money, I guess I earned 86 cents in the last year from my stuff. So we don't talk about money, because you won't earn any money of what I do. But it would be split up. You know, the author of the song gets his part, and I get a little part. But the most important thing to me is you are safe on the copyright side with it.
Right. Oh, this is cool. I didn't know about this. We Are the Hits. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a really good service.
Because DistroKid offered to, because I've released a cover song through DistroKid. I released a Ben Folds cover with Pete Johns, and I pay for the license to do it. It's really easy to do that. I'm guessing it's a similar kind of thing. So you pay a fee for it. They handle all the stuff that you don't want to know about.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
and then they cover paying the artist for you. I'm guessing that's a similar thing to that. And then you get about this much out of it. But at least you don't get hassled and made to feel like a scumbag for doing covers like YouTube does to you. Hey, thank you very much, Ivan Idea, for the kind super chat. That's very nice of you.
Ivan!
Thank you, Ivan Idea. Hey, if you want a super chat, please do so. That is up to you. It always helps the channel. Never expected, always appreciated. So let's go back to Canva, because I know Pete recommends Canva as well. He uses that for his album artwork, his thumbnails. He uses it for everything. I've used it as well. I actually use GoDaddy Studio myself, because my websites, I use GoDaddy, so they connect better than Canva, but pretty much the same thing. Canva has a free sign up as well. Really good for making simple album artwork. We don't have to think about it. It doesn't hurt your brain.
It's perfect. I used the free version of it, so it completely is fine for me what you can do with the free version. I don't need much more stuff. And you have so many design possibilities there. Awesome.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Was there anything else you wanted to mention before we move on?
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Let's rock and roll. All right, because we are coming to the end of the show, and what I want to be a bit self-indulgent for the end of the show. First, I want to thank all of you for being here. I'll thank you again, guys. You've blown it out the park again. Let me check stats. So I think we got up to 50 people here. You guys rock. I think we're currently sitting at 45. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being here and supporting both this channel and for supporting such an incredible artist, Ingo. He absolutely deserves all the accolades in the world. Still hasn't knocked Russ off the #1 spot, though.
No, and I was Russ wrote me before, and he said, "Oh, my record. He's a record holder at your show."
Yep.
And he feared that I would pull him off the throne. I thought, no way.
I think he wants somebody to knock him off. I think he was the record. I think it was 63 or 64. Yeah. So he has the record. It's Russ, you know. What can you say? Everybody loves Russ.
Stay on that.
Even though he's a miserable old grumpy prick. I can say that he's my mate. You got to hand it to Russ. All right, so I want to talk about this because you did something amazing at the end of last year for me personally, and I can't thank you enough. So, was it last year? I had a really big name person here in Australian music industry named Michael Gudinski, who passed away. He discovered artists like Kylie Minogue and so many big Australian bands. He's such a big name in the music industry, and I happened to know him on a personal level, and he passed away last year, and I did a performance here on my channel dedicating some songs. It was very impromptu. I sat in the dark because I was crying all the way through it. Every song I sung, I bawled my eyes out. It was very raw, very painful. And around Christmas, you emailed me and you had taken one of the songs, which is my signature song, Do What Makes You Happy, and you had added an orchestral part to it, which was in itself amazing because I was all over the place in that song. I don't know how you managed to pull off the timing for that because it was all over the sheet. And I was absolutely so touched. Even now thinking about it, it was one of the most beautiful things somebody had ever done for me. And I want to
absolute pleasure
personally thank you for that because it's a very rare thing that somebody you don't know, you've never met before, you like their music, and all of a sudden I get this email from you and you've done this for me. It's absolutely one of the single most beautiful things anybody has done for me, and I can't thank you enough. And I released it also through DistroKid with your blessing as well. I thank you so much. I wish you had a DistroKid account so I could split the royalties with you. So get a DistroKid account so I could split the royalties with you because you deserve them, even though I'm not making a lot of money. I'm poor. But so I know I'm being self-indulgent, and I see Russ in there saying the Sion version was cool. It was. Sion's version was cool as well. But so, firstly, how did you manage to add the orchestral stuff to such a song that was all over the place? It was a mess. Did it take you long to do that?
So at first, that was really a personal thank you and present for you. I didn't expect you to do anything with it. So I was so touched by that performance. I remember I watched that show and it was really like goosebumps all over the place. Oh my God. It's absolutely, and especially this version was I loved the song, and this version was mind blowing. And I don't know how I came up with starting it. It was after I did the Christmas thing, and I was kind of I didn't really have something, I didn't have the next project, and I had some time, and I remember the track, and I just tried some things on it, and I was aware of I can't make it too big, and it just should sit underneath your great performance and don't overdo it. And it was like a relief doing it, like being able to share the stage with you.
Yeah, I can't thank you enough. It was so touching. And I want to let you know too, I did a live performance for the first time in 2 years since the pandemic. The last time I did a live show in the real world was just before the pandemic kicked off, and a few weeks ago. Thank you very much, Russ, for the kind super chat. And Russ has put here, please, Ingo, can
Level
you cover
42. Yep.
Level 42?
Russ, I'm a big fan of Level 42. I guess I have all the albums from them. So yeah, if you sing it, I do it.
You have to sing it, Russ. Sucked in, man. Good stuff. So I did this live performance, and I hadn't performed in ages, and I was at this big transgender concert. And after I performed, and after all the other acts performed, I went to get all my gear, and we sat down with my flatmate, and my flatmate says, "Can you hear that on the speakers? Is that Do What Makes You Happy?" And you'll be so hopefully you're stoked to know they actually played the track that you played on, and it was over the speakers, and I'm like going, hang on, where would they get that from? And then I heard the timpani, and I'm like, oh my god, it's a Black Covers version. Oh my god, it was so cool to hear it on speakers after I did a performance. I was so stoked. That was the bigger highlight than me even playing a gig. I could give shit about the gig. Hearing that at the end was even more awesome. So I'll hit you with the last question, then we'll say goodbye and we'll go out with that track for today. Ingo, if somebody was considering becoming creative, when would you suggest that they do so?
Now. Let's start exactly right now. Yeah, do it. I always was asked, what about making music for a living? And there I must say, do that if you can't do anything else, or you have to do that. If you feel, I don't have to do that, and I'm happy, then don't do it. But if you feel like, I need to do it, then start now.
The answer is always now. It's a pretty boring question, but I love driving it home every episode of these interviews that we do. You are interview, I think, number 64. So thank you for being a part of that. Thank you for sharing a part of your life and the way you make music. And thank you for creating music and giving so many vocalists an opportunity to shine. You are an outstanding artist and a very kind and beautiful soul. And it's been such a privilege to have you on and see what you look like. I think a lot of people are here just to see what you look like.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was really, I was nervous like hell, because there's a reason I'm not in the videos. I'm more the guy in the back seat and behind the stuff. And you made it feel very comfortable. Thank you very much for that. And thank you everybody in the chat. I'm blushed. So many people. It's awesome.
Thank you.
I more like to sit in the chat and write.
Yeah, it's a lot. Well, it's not that easy when there's this many people there, because you have to say hello to everybody, and that's always a chore. And yes, thank you all for being here. Thanks for keeping the chat going and keeping it alive, and thanks for supporting all the time, guys. You're all, and there's so many amazing artists here as well too. A lot of them have been on the show, and a lot who haven't yet, and will be in the future. So, alrighty. We're going to head out today. Please hang on the line for the end of the show, and we'll have a chat afterwards. So, All right, guys, this is Do What Makes You Happy. It's an incredibly important song for me. It's my motto. I say it to you guys every day. Do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better. And remember, we can all rise together. And I want to thank Ingo for putting this beautiful orchestral piece to this. And I'll see you next time on the weekend. I'm doing a opening hour of classic metal songs, and there's a bunch of German metal bands I'm doing as well. So that's going to be exciting. So if you want some metal on the weekend, come and join me. But this is Do What Makes You Happy by myself, featuring the amazing Ingo from Black Covers. Thanks very much, guys. Thank you very much, Ingo, and we'll see you again shortly. Adios,
Thanks,
amigos.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. As I get my shit together. So pro here.
This is not another love song. It is about being true to yourself. It's all you can rely on, and friends who love you for being your true selfish. You may think it of me. We are connecting right now. Here, your selflessness is all you need, and then you can be true to your words and music, your life you choose it. Songs and laughter, all shit ever after. You can choose it all, you can't lose it. Just remember, don't ever abuse it. Just do what makes you happy. This is not another fairy tale. It is about seeing through someone else's eyes that I've seen a million places, and faced adversity and prejudice just for being themselves. Is it really worth the hassle to hate someone for being different? 'Cause everybody's made of flesh, bone, skin, and blood. We eat each other, and we love not enough. But through words and music, your life you choose it. Songs and laughter, shit ever after. You can choose it all, you can't lose it. Just remember, don't ever abuse it. Just do what makes you happy. So many people are afraid to be themselves, afraid of what people may think. Isn't it right to say that people that
don't you worry about, only worry about themselves. They're not thinking about you. So why do so many people lash out in public at a person for being 100% themselves? You can believe in yourself 100% without being an asshole. I was unhappy for many a year in my life, emotions flowing on a roller coaster, suicide. Truly hated myself cause I feared the worst. Nobody would love me for me, telling you free thinking is punished in life. Honesty is something I find very hard to believe. The anger was building inside of me when all I really wanted to do was cry. When everything was going bad, try not to let it out, to be so sad. Try to let other people's drama make you mad. Now it's time to say goodbye. Goodbye. Just do what makes you happy.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you to DistroKid, who sponsored today's show. You guys rock. We'll see you again soon. Have a great day. Do the things that make you happy.